Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Hey, Jackie. Hey, Eduardo. And for there, I can see that there's a few other lurkers as well. Hello. Yeah, so I'm back with another review. These are the last two head joints in the batch of head joints that I got from Flute Center last month. So I need to ship them off not right after this because I still need to get a little shipping label from them, but I will be shipping these off very soon. So yeah, I think I want to give you guys just a quick update. You guys may have noticed that I'm a little bit quiet on social media, including our Discord server. And it's really just because we're tired. And I'm trying to conserve as much energy as possible. Yeah, so the whole flare situation with my husband's skin, topical steroid withdrawal, is still going. This is a really, really long flare. So far, it's been lasting more than 2 months, which is generally one of the longer ones. Usually when we see a flare, we're looking at only about 4 to 6 weeks of like a flare, like it essentially like continuing for so long. But yeah, it's been more than 2 months, so we are very pooped. I have to be very careful with how much of myself I give to everything that is, part of the schedule that is my life. So, yeah, I just wanted to, let you guys know that that's kind of, where I'm at right now. Chef Maiku, hello, dinner and a show. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's been almost a year, Eduardo. Hello, Noelle, welcome back. Okay, so that's my personal update. It's just letting you guys know that, that the flare is still going. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, it's been a long time. Surely he's better. No, he's better, but he's not well. Like, he's not on an actual, like, what's called a break from this sort of like cyclical withdrawal symptoms. But anyway, enough about that. I do have a fun little thing that I'm doing this weekend. So on Sunday, I will be giving a workshop about how I do this, what I'm looking for when I'm testing like harmonics, tone, color, dynamics, articulation, that type of thing. So it's like full Google Slides presentation. Like, I got the whole thing going, and it is being held by the Flute Nerd Lab. Let me get you guys, I realized I prepped everything else except for the information about that workshop that I am doing. So let me grab that really quick. Just gonna do a little cheeky copy paste. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, here we go. So they gave me a whole thing to copy paste, so I'm just going to copy paste it straight into the video description underneath. And I will let's see, where should I put it? I'll put it above my code since it's happening soon. Okay, cool. So I'll save this very soon, guys. And then you guys can refresh the page. It is so hard to type and talk at the same time. My goodness. Okay. Save. All right. So you guys can refresh the page now, and you guys should see all of that info below. Yeah, so it is at 6 p.m. UK time, 10 a.m. my time, Pacific time. And it is going to be a workshop through the Flute Nerd Lab. So you got to sign up to become a member. And it's a really cute little community, by the way. And just so you guys know why I, no questions asked, immediately agreed to do this, is because Alex, who runs the Flute Nerd Lab, was my student. So she studied with me quite a few years back now. And at that time, she actually already told me that she had this kind of dream to create this type of online community for flutists. And it's a fairly unique idea. There are a lot of different ways that you can build a community online, and hers is very unique to her. So I was so thrilled to see how it was all coming along, years later. She just messaged me a few months back now and was like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, yes. And the reason why you guys haven't heard anything is because I've been pretty much dead for the last 2 months. So she got me she got me right in the nick of time. She got my attention right before I basically went MIA for a bit. So I just wanted to announce that if you guys want to sign up, you guys can join the little workshop that I'll be hosting, or she's hosting, and I'm the guest, I guess. It's the first time that I've actually put together a presentation where I explain what I'm looking for, what I've discovered about flute playing. That is, and I kind of focus more on what the flute demands of you. I think most people, very rightly so, focus on what we do as flutists to sound good. But this presentation focuses, and this workshop focuses on your relationship with the flute, what the flute ends up demanding of you and how you can feel it out and stuff like that. Symptoms to look for and stuff like that, what they mean. It's basically how I feel out flutes. Both me and Alex figured that this is what you guys want to hear about, want to know. I'm hoping if this goes, successfully, I'm hoping to develop this presentation even more. But this is going to be really fun to share with you guys how I actually do all of this. So Eduardo, you're asking if I'm still doing the practice recordings. I actually stopped doing those back when I got sick with COVID. So I got sick with COVID last September into October. It was 2 months of me being sick with COVID. So I couldn't practice at that time. And then because it sort of forced me to think about my life, I ended up reorganizing my life. I have a few more commitments that are personal and that I've decided to keep to myself. And you only have so much time. So how I'm actually practicing these days is like between tasks, between lessons, that type of thing. So I am still practicing on my own, but I don't have the time to live stream it. And I've decided that it's a good way for me to not completely burn out when we run into the types of really long flares that like what we're going through right now. I've been really happy that I've still been able to mostly show up once a week. I think there was only 2 weeks, which was the worst of the 2 weeks, like the worst 2 weeks of this long flare. I think it was just those 2 weeks I didn't show up, but every other week I've been able to show up for a live stream. And then, and I've also been able to upload videos every week throughout this crazy flare. So I'm really happy with the balance that I have struck. So I'm sorry that the practicing streams kind of don't fit anymore. It was either I burn out on my everyday streams, just completely burn out, or I show up once a week doing this type of stuff. So I decided at the very least I'll show up once a week. So yeah. Oh, Jackie, that's great. You were looking at Headjoints. My recent Haynes flute review helped a lot to figure out what you want to try. That's great. So did you buy the Haynes Nagog with the 18 karat riser? Oh, wow. That's so nice. Hey, Ryan, how are you doing? Hello. Out of sight, how are you? Was it Steven? Right? Did I remember correctly? Okay. So, I think that is it for, housekeeping. So the first thing is flare is still going. And the second thing is, I am holding a fun little workshop where I share with you guys how I do this, how I do these reviews, how I figure out flutes. So all, the info for that is in the description below. Sign up to become a member to be part of the Flute Nerd Lab, which is run by my former student, Alex, and have fun. It's a really cute community. And then, so you can join the workshop on Sunday. All right, cool. I did remember, Steven. Okay, wonderful. I'm glad that you guys can catch my stream too. I'm very, very grateful to you all for showing up, even though I really can't, I cannot make a schedule, but I try to show up at least once a week. But anyway, okay, so we have in front of us here today, 2 head joints. One is Ariel Louis or Louis. Unsure how to pronounce it. He is a flute maker from Israel, I believe, and he specializes in making Baroque. It's like traversos and stuff like that. So I have a suspicion, because what's funny is that both of these, is it both of these or, let's see, I forget what I found particularly interesting, about, the Howel Roberts. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Yeah. So I believe Ariel Louis, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name, specializes in making Baroque flutes. So this head joint is the Palanca style head joint, which I believe is like after a certain style of head joint, like from the like early romantic kind of like, early romantic, I believe. So there is a note in the product page for this Palanca style head joint that actually says that it is made for early romantic music. Let me see. Yeah, Palanca style head joints are meant to be used for early romantic works, but can be used for any style. So I'm very curious to see like how this is going to feel and how it's going to sound. If you look at the whole, this is very much a like Baroque style, like a Baroque flute style lip cut. You can see compared to this one, this is a very modern cut here, but you can see how much smaller and how much more like circular it is straight up. So I believe it is technically called an oval cut. But yeah, compared to the modern one, it just straight up looks circular. But yeah, I thought that was particularly interesting. I do have 2 flutes out here. One is a B-foot joint Trevor James copper alloy, and then this one is a Mateki solid silver C-foot joint. This one was my my flute for a long time before I got my Brannon. And this one is my backup. And the reason I have these 2 yet again is because these do not fit on my Brannon. But yeah, this one down here is by Howel Roberts. Howel Roberts, I believe, is based in the UK. And what I found particularly interesting on his website was he apparently does make wooden head joints that are also fully lined with a silver tubing. So like the silver tubing actually sometimes, depending on which head joint you're looking at, goes all the way through. I believe this one is not that way. This one is just the tenon. Tenon and yeah, that's it. Wait, is it? Let me see. Solid silver mounts and tenons. That's it. But the rest of it is wood here. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how these guys play. I did take out some Baroque music for, especially to try this head joint, but this one I'm not really sure what I think it's going to sound good on until I actually try it. So I think what I'm going to do, it is a close call. I'm going to end the poll now. So here we go. Looks like the Howel Roberts won. So we'll do that one first, and then we'll do the Palanca. It's actually it's pretty close though. I think only won by 1 vote, it looks like. But yeah. Chef Maiku, this might give you insight on your debate of getting a new flute or a new head joint. I think so. I do think that the whole body of the flute absolutely affects the behavior of the of like how the air bubble moves in your mouth, what shape you have to create inside your mouth. Yeah, I definitely think there's some effect there. The other thing that I notice is that these like different head joints play nice with certain bodies. So certain, makes, metals, etc. So that's another reason why I have both of these out, because again, it's one of those things where I don't really know which metal. At least we can look at 2 different metals and see how they play against these. So far, what I've noticed in the last couple of weeks is that the wooden head joints actually, they kind of shine a bit more on solid silver. I'm actually finding when they're on, a very blendy material like copper, I am actually finding it, you almost, it mellows it out so much that you lose a little bit of the kind of, you lose a little bit of like life to the sound, if that makes sense. Like it's a little duller and a little mellower. So I guess it kind of depends on like what you're playing for, what type of music you play and who you play with. But yeah, So we'll see what happens. I made the mistake in the last couple of weeks where I was like, I'm definitely going to try these on just the B foot because, most people have B foots. And then it's like, I was like, I can tell it's not cutting it. And I was like, and then the moment we popped it on the Mateki, it was like instantly like the whole thing like came to life. So anyway, we shall go back to this screen and we're going to update the review title to say Howel Roberts. So this one's going to be the Howel Roberts Bloodwood. And I will center that for you guys. Okay, there we go. And then where is there it is. Okay, so we've got all of our stuff going. Let's pop this on one of my flutes and try it. I'm going to try it, I think, first with the copper alloy. And then I'm going to kind of make a decision on whether I feel like I'm not getting like the full resonance that this head joint can offer. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Howel Roberts. Yeah, I'm immediately feeling like there's kind of a resistance to in terms of like it's almost like I can feel like this thing can be a lot more colorful, a lot more even more projecting, I would say. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of tape on this because I did try these on my Mateki and I noticed that they're a little bit loose on my Mateki. So pop a bit of tape on. Let's try it on the Mateki. Okay. And like I already kind of had a feeling that these would work better on my silver. But we'll see. See? Immediately. Immediately. Like it just opens it right up. Wow. I think I'm just going to do the review on the silver because it really brings out the full potential, I feel, of the head joint. I think if I actually got an overhaul on this flute, it would be even better. I think you guys would hear it even more. But yeah, exactly, Chef Maiku. Like I could tell that this thing would have way more potential, way more color range, way more projection immediately after like trying it on the Trevor James. So I'm kind of like, here's my suspicion right now, guys. So just from this whole last month of trying all of these wood head joints, I'm coming to a light conclusion that a full wood head joint, I think, benefits from being on a solid silver body. I feel like if it's this much wood with a body that is like very mellow already, it's like it doesn't make the wood vibrate correctly. So I started to think about my own flute. So my own main combo is a 10 karat rose gold body with a 14 karat tube for the head joint, and only the lip plate is wooden. And I wonder if, like, legitimately, maybe one of the reasons I like that combo is because I still get that woody, edgy sound, but it maintains the kind of the full potential of my flute. Like I can really tell I'm not fighting. It's the whole thing's just very open, and it almost kind of feels like it plays itself, you know? Yeah, but I wonder if like a full wood on my flute too, like not just the copper alloy, but also on the 10K. I wonder if it's too much wood. That like somehow that like softer metal, or that more kind of like mellowy, blendy metal just doesn't vibrate it enough. I that's what I'm wondering, if that's the case. It's crazy how the type of, I know you meant flute, but it's very, I find the autocorrect very funny. But yes, it is crazy how the type of flute can really impact the sound so much. Yeah, exactly. That's why, that's what I'm really finding out in these, you know, in these last few weeks. Yeah. So Jackie is also wondering if they work better on silver because that's what they had in mind when they were made. Very possible. I also thought of that too. I feel like that would, you know, if they're going to play test on a flute, it's more likely that they would play test on a solid silver. So, and Noelle, I hope that made you laugh. Yeah. At first I was like, the type of flute? And then I was like, right, flute. Anyway, okay. I'm going to noodle around a little bit more and then do some like harmonics and stuff to get a really good feel of this. I was just seeing if I can get that D7. I discovered, guys, that I can get it on my flute. So on my combo, I can get that high D7 now. So right now I'm working towards making that actually a part of my normal, you know, set of harmonics. So I figured this is a C foot joint as well, so I could try and attempt it. But I was actually kind of like, it might not work because I am finding that this rides very high in the mouth, like very, very high in the mouth. It to me feels like playing a large piccolo. So like even the lowest C, I feel like I can feel it against my top, like vibrating against my top lip rather than my bottom lip. I feel like that goes in line with what I was feeling because I also noticed that I need to roll in quite far. It's a little bit more rolled in than I expected to be. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like essentially I was sort of kind of mimicking almost like an overbite kind of you know, embouchure. But yeah, it seems to ride very high. I think what I want to do right now is get the my little paint thing open here. While I figure this out, I do want you guys to keep in mind that this this map you see here is really only for a C foot joint. If it's a B foot joint, the low notes are going to kind of like sit lower, and then the highest notes in the third register will sit a little bit higher than what I'm drawing in here. That's what I'm really finding is the difference between C foot joint and B foot joint. They change where the low notes and the high notes sit. So let's do this. Here we go. So this is I'll just call it Roberts Bloodwood. Okay. And we will, so I feel like the lowest C is this too thin? No. It feels like it's there. I don't think I'm making it up. D7 popped out for a hot second. Okay, the reason why I said wow was because I just experienced something I've never experienced on a flute before, or at least I can't remember experiencing this on a flute before. I'm just going to quickly draw where I feel at least like that air bubble moving. So like here-ish, and then that's an octave up, and then the G is like, whoops. Okay. Here-ish for G. Okay. C is there. Okay, maybe a little lower, just a hair lower. So like here, and then E is where the teeth meets the gums. Like there. And then the G comes down and lower. So this is what I call the outlier harmonic. From what I can feel, most flutes and head joints have that one outlier harmonic that just doesn't really behave like everything else, because it shoots further down and forward. So that I can literally feel kind of vibrating and spinning against the back of my top lip. And then for B flat, yeah, just goes higher, back to what we were doing before. So around here. Even higher. I'm running out of space at this point. I think that's why it's so hard for me to try and eke out the D7. It's like here, and I feel like I have to lift my soft palate. Like I have to lift my whole, the roof of my mouth to make that. Okay, I got it. It's really high, and I don't actually have the space for it. So I think that's why I can't sustain it. But yeah, the D7 is like way up here. Yeah. Yeah, but very, very difficult for me to sustain it, because you guys can see how much it cuts into the roof of my mouth. So I literally have to play like that. Like I literally have to open my mouth like this. So I keep my like lower teeth and like jaw where the flute is, but I like open up my whole mouth like that. Okay, now what's the particularly interesting thing about this head joint though? I take it back that I was thinking this might be for overbite players. No, I think this might just be for piccolo players, just straight up, but with no overbite. The reason that you need that though is because in order to get the full resonance for this particular head joint, and I'm just going to use like a little pink thing here. It's hard to do on the low C because you kind of have to almost imagine it. But if you take any note that you're going to play, you need to hollow out this like a little space lower and more forward. You have to keep that space nice and hollowed out. So what I was finding, like I discovered it on this note. So I had to keep this space open. Like that. Right? And then like this note as well. Like I had to keep this space open. This one, easier because I have a lot of space right there. The G was interesting because I also felt like I had to really kind of almost feel like a good amount of space. Like I had to kind of let my lower lip make a good amount of space. But yeah, you have to keep like this sort of negative space open, lower, kind of like in like as you can see, sort of like a triangle. Like it's like a triangle of negative space that juts out at an angle, like angle low. So it's really interesting. So what this forces you to do, it's not quite like the pearl, because on a pearl, I feel at least that I'm holding 2 or 3 marbles. In my most recent review of pearls, though, I'm only holding like 1 marble. So it's still there, but it's not crazy. Like, this is kind of the negative space that you need to keep open for a pearl. But not this one. This one, it kind of moves with the air bubble. And you just have to make sure that you have a nice negative space open in sort of like a triangle shape, lower and more forward from the where the air bubble sits. I've never experienced a flute like this before. And yeah, it's a very interesting negative space, because usually if there's going to be like a bit of an extra space that you need to keep open and it moves with the air bubble, usually it goes the opposite way. Like, usually it's this way, you know? So I find it interesting that for this one, the negative space faces outward rather than facing inward. I have a suspicion that this will help with projection, and like playing with a little bit more power, but on a wooden head joint, which I find very interesting. Yeah, I've never experienced this before. This is very, very cool. Yeah. Hello, Michael. Yeah. So, interesting. Okay. That would be what I need to write this down. So, rides very high, and also negative space, kind of like in a triangle, down and forward from air bubbles. Yeah, usually it's down and back, not down and forward. It's so interesting. Huh. Okay. Let's try out tone color manipulation now. I wonder if it has anything to do with the negative space that I have to keep open. We'll see. Oh, that's really cool. That's very cool. Okay, I realize first I need to label all this stuff. So give me a sec to do that. Okay, so this one is C4, C5, G5, C6, E6. This one is G6. Oh, you guys can't read that. Here, I'll put it further out. G6. There we go. And then we have B flat 6. Then we have C7. And then I eked it out for a hot second, but D7 is here, but I don't actually have the space for this. So, okay. If you want to manipulate tone color, you manipulate that negative space that I just found. So if you want a rich sound, make that negative space as big as possible. So it's that triangle shape, but as big of a triangle shape as you can get. But if you want it to be nice and thin, I'll use, I guess, green. Okay, if you want it to be nice and thin, then what you do is you make that negative space super thin, like that. Just like a super thin negative space. So it's not a triangle anymore from the side. It's just like a little line but you still need to keep that little space open. Otherwise you lose a lot of volume. So that's the other thing, is that if you want to make it, you know, loud versus soft, so have a huge air bubble with the huge triangle coming down and out from it. And then you can get rid of the entire triangle and just have a tiny little point, and then you'll get it as soft as possible. So I'll demo that, because I just felt it right now too when I was trying it. That's pretty cool, man. This is very interesting. Okay, so a couple of things for you guys to keep in mind. When you make the air bubble huge to make that really huge, loud forte sound, scooch it back. This is something I'm finding that every flute requires. So the larger the air bubble, scooch it further back. Otherwise you'll get really sharp. You'll start to crack, all that stuff. And then if you make it really, really tiny, scooch that air bubble a little bit more forward. So the placements that I've put here in this little map is kind of like mezzo forte, like where you'd play mezzo forte. So shove it forward if it's piano, shove it back if it's forte. And that negative space comes with it. All right. So although not really any negative space when you're playing soft. So I'll put here, let's see, large negative space equals rich, thin negative space equals thin. We have large air bubble plus moved back plus large negative space equals forte. And then we have small air bubble moved forward plus plus no negative space equals piano. So yeah, that's how I am thinking of this, at least. Wow, this is quite something. It's very easy to feel. So yeah, what I find particularly interesting is that this rides very high in the mouth, but it requires, you know, the ability to manipulate kind of like the spacing in the lower half of your mouth. Usually I find that if a head joint, if a flute rides this high, I'm not feeling much at all happening in the lower half of the mouth. So this is particularly interesting to me. We're going to try out some articulation now. What I'm guessing is that because I basically just tongue behind where the air bubble sits. If the air bubble is in front of the teeth, then I end up tonguing between my teeth. Here, I think I will air towards, like, even though, you know, a few notes are in front of the teeth, I'm going to air higher. I think that's going to be cleaner. So let's try out some, like, F major. It's essentially going up and down my top teeth following the air bubble. That's really it. There are some flutes that I feel that my tongue actually ends up touching my lower teeth as well. Like, that's how low it can go. But for this one, no, it's just all against my top front teeth. All right, let's do some double tonguing. Or let's do a single tonguing arpeggio. Clean. Okay, so the double tonguing I'm really finding is not a full cheat, but sort of like a half cheat. Like it's so light against the roof of my mouth that it's almost not registering as a full contact. So it's like super light contact with the roof of the mouth. I'm going to test it again. Light contact with the roof of the mouth. So I'll mark where I'm feeling the K. So the T's are all essentially kind of, behind the air bubble, but the K is like, it actually allows me to stay a little bit further back. I don't have to force it too forward, but it's still like somewhat middle of the mouth. I want to say middle of the roof of the mouth. That's really where I'm feeling the K. I want to say, and you just have to stay light. You can make contact, but stay light. Yeah, I think that's what we're looking at here. Okay, we pretty much, I think, figured out this head joint. So I want to just play a few tunes, see what I feel. Let's play just a little bit of Genshin main theme. Okay, I will say this thing diminuendos like a champ. I think it's because of that, like the manipulation of the negative space. It's so easy to feel that you can just sort of like decrease the negative space and then decrease the size of the air bubble until it's nothing. And it's like it's very easy to feel. So this is really good for that stuff. For like, I think dynamic contrast actually, I think is where this is at. So like if I find, okay, I'll play another tune. Yeah, dynamic tone color kind of contrast. Contrasts are really where this thing is king. So contrasts. So this is like dynamic and color. So good. Champ at diminuendos. Diminuendo. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Thank you, Victor. All right. Now that I'm done that, I just wanted to say, Michael, I saw your message, and I'm really sorry that you're going through that, but I'm also really glad that we can provide a like a place of solace for you. Yeah, I have to say, escaping with the flute is really freaking fantastic, and it can really help you, I think, express your feelings as well. So yeah, I can hear your hurt, and I see your hurt, and I just want to acknowledge that. And I hope that these streams and these videos can continue giving you, a sense of routine, something that, a beautiful, good thing that you can just sort of keep with you. So big hugs. All right. So Chef Michael, you are asking if I have talked about the break-in process with wood head joints, and maintenance. I not really, like I haven't made like a full video about it, partially because it is not my expertise. When I asked the Flute Center about how to care for my wood lip plate, they're like, don't worry, the oil from your face is good enough. So I've just been doing that, and it's been great. So however, you can get like oiling kits. I believe that the Flute Center has a wood flute care kit. And I think there's like some instructions and stuff on how you can use it. There are quite a few people online who have created blog posts and videos on how to care for your wooden flute, your wooden head joint. But yeah, I have heard that the break-in process is like, give or take a few months, about 6 months. That's what I hear. Actually a metal flute also needs to be broken in. You'll almost kind of feel like it sort of resists you. It's not as open as it can be until about 6 months down the road. But yeah, I have heard that on a wooden flute. So I'm just telling you guys what I've heard of, but like, just so you guys know, I don't own a wooden head joint myself. So I'm not like, très experience, So anyway, what I have heard is that you want to kind of like play your head joint, your new head joint, fairly regularly. You want to start, just kind of like frequently, I forget. It's like somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes to like half an hour or so, like once a day, just to kind of get it, essentially accustomed to being played. So it's just kind of like over time, it will be broken in. But yeah, I would say that flute technicians have a much better, more knowledgeable tips for you. But that's just what I've heard. That's what I have been, told by some flute technicians as well. And honestly, I hear that some flute technicians, will approach it one way and others will approach it another, and they each have their reasons. So what I like to tell people, though, is to really ask the technician in your area. The reason why I say that is because wood is very temperamental and very reactive to your environment. So like humidity levels and et cetera, et cetera. So, if you ask your flute technician who literally lives in the same area as you, they will probably give you way more accurate information about how to care for your wooden flute, your wooden head joint, in a way that will actually be appropriate to where you live. So, don't be living in like a crazy humidity, like crazy humidity place like Singapore, okay? And be like taking advice about how to care for your wooden instrument from someone here in Seattle, okay? No, the humidity levels are completely different. So yeah, I do highly recommend that you have a little chat with your flute technician in your area to talk about how to break in your wooden head joint, wooden flute, in a way that is okay for the instrument, and also how to care for it. Yeah, so talk to your local flute technician, okay? I need to drink more. Oh, Michael, you're experiencing so much loss. That's really hard, man. I'm really sorry. Yeah, I feel it. Okay, so I think that now's a good time for me to switch on over to the other head joint. So this one is the Ariel Louis Palanca style head joint. So let me change that here. So this is the Ariel Louis Palanca style head joint. There we go. Wonderful. And this is in rosewood. Just so you guys know, all the specs are in the video description below. Okay, so open up a new page here. Let's try this out. I think it's gonna be better on my Mateki. I really think it's gonna be better on my Mateki, but let's try it on the B-foot joint. I don't think it's going to be like holy, like I don't think it's going to work on this. Okay, so I had to think Baroque flute, like embouchure, probably like really thin, tiny airstream. Okay, all right, let's try it out. It sounds just like a Baroque flute. Wow. I think it's going to be better on the Mateki. I think. I really think. So we are not looking for like projection on this boy. Okay. This boy is like essentially, I think what I'm testing it for is how much like a Baroque flute does it sound and feel. You cannot push your air on a Baroque flute. It will not take it. Your sound will just disappear. Okay, so very light air, very thin airstream, and you know you're just very. Oh, is that too much tape? That's too much tape. It's just a very light type of playing. I'm very excited to play CPE Bach on this, and also the Bach B minor sonata. I think would be amazing on this. Oh, even that's too much. Wow. 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 Does it alarm you that I can actually do a half decent Owen Wilson accent? Wow. Okay, let's see how much it actually needs. A little bit. It does need a little bit. Okay. Is that not enough though? Here, let's try this. Okay, that's a nice snug fit, and it won't like move around. Oh. I have to go right back. I have to go right back to my Baroque flute days. Oh God. Give me a sec to figure this out. Oh man. Good note with the not playing with vibrato. Thank you for the reminder. Also, welcome, John. How are you? I need to roll out way more. Like, way more. We'll try in line with the keys. I'm curious now. So, few things I remembered. One is that with this style of like this, essentially this like Baroque-ish style cut, I forgot that I essentially need to almost not feel the edge of the hole against my lip. Like it almost feels like it's so out that I'm not making contact with it. So that was the first thing I was like, yes, right. I remember that was the case. That's how I felt while playing a Baroque flute. Excuse me. So that made it so that I could like actually get some resonance out. The other part was trying to find the lowest note to the lowest C. What I'm realizing is I was trying to make it sit too low, like way too low. So I'm finding that I need to like raise it up quite a bit and then kind of hold open a space, like a negative space essentially in front of my teeth. So I was just trying to figure out exactly how that felt. But I am also curious, like Chef Micah was saying here, I am also very curious about how, like now that I have found how to actually do that again, you know, it's been a hot minute. I want to try it again on the Trevor James. Because you're right, it had a little bit more of that fluffy sound. Like I wonder if we do want a mellower instrument to go with this. So put that in line again. Let's give it another go. Yeah. I think because this is a Baroque style essentially head joint, I think it wants a mellower body. I almost feel like the silver was too much for it. Like it was kind of sounded a little almost unnatural, you know? This sounds a lot more pleasing to the ear. Yeah, with the copper. Yeah. Yeah, you get more color this way too, like on a mellower body. I don't think you're supposed to play a high C on this. But okay, now that I figured it out, I do want to try and map this. I don't actually think I've done this type of mapping on a Baroque style flute, head joint, etc. So let's see what we make of this. I am finding that I have to over exaggerate a pew sort of syllable. So if you see what it does to my lips, pew, you can see that it forces my top lip out, creating a ton of negative space in front of my teeth. I am finding that I'm mostly having to do that for most of the range, but let's see what happens when I try mapping this. Interesting. The outlier harmonic is the E, not the G. Interesting. I don't think I can get the high B flat on a cut like this. I'm curious now, though. I'm just going to play regular notes up into the third register and see how far I can get. Hardly get the C out. Yeah. I will show you guys why it is like impossible for me to get up there. Yeah. Not only is everything quite high in the mouth, it's all of it is in front of the teeth. So I very quickly run out of room. So okay, I need to start drawing. Otherwise, I'm going to lose it. I will put here first. We need to have like a lot of negative space here. Okay, so like this whole space here has to be super open. I would say it feels like this. Like this space here needs to be crazy open. So I'll put here, this is the pew. Okay, now the C is here. Okay, and then one octave up is like here. It's like right in front of the teeth, like here. So we have C, C, G. The C is already here. Like, as you can tell, we're running out of room. Right. The E is the outlier. So the E feels like it's here. So it's kind of like propping out the negative space even more. Actually, I would say it kind of feels like it's sort of like against this side of the negative space. Yeah, yeah. And then G. Oh. Trying to find exactly where it is. Yeah. It's already a bit of a struggle right now. It's like here. I'm really like, oh, like trying to duck face it out really far. Like the pressure that has feels like a between a B flat, like a B flat 6 and a C7. Like it feels like that amount of pressure already because it's so high. Okay, here I have to tilt my head back because I don't have space for it. I tilt my head back and then it feels like it's like here. But I've actually tilted it like this. So, yeah, it might be a bit higher. I want to say B flat 7 is like here. But yeah, the head is tipped back to get it. Quite tipped back. It's more like I have to lift my mouth up higher. Okay, I think we'll stop there because, yeah, it's almost not coming out. I think I will actually say it's like here, and I like can't really lift the front of my soft palate. You like yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So, you know, this is particularly interesting because I'm like, oh, this is why, you know, it's so hard to get high notes out on the Baroque flute. Probably because you've run out of space entirely. So this is G5. And then we have C6, and then this one is E6. Then we have G6, and then this is B flat 6. And yeah, the ain't no way I can get the C out. It's probably like up here somewhere. I can't lift my mouth up that like high enough to do that. Okay. Also, I realize I should probably actually label this correctly. So let's call it this one. There we go. This is the Louis Palanca. Yeah, cool. Okay, wonderful. So there's our little map with our negative space. I'm gonna see what happens if I try manipulating the air bubbles. Like make it big, make it small. See if I can do some tone color variants, but let's see. All right, this is one of those rare flutes or rare head joints where the area that you manipulate for tone color is like completely separate from the air bubble. So what I'm finding is if we want this to be very rich, you really want to hollow out this space right here. Nice big space. Make sure your tongue is out of the way. And then if you want that thinner tone color, stick your tongue right into that space, like right above it. So stick your tongue like that over it to cut it off, essentially. And then you'll get your thin sound. So I'll put here that this is your tongue. So put that. Oh, that's too big. That's too big. 20. So this is your tongue. Okay. And then, but yeah, you want that big space if you want it to be very rich. Interesting. Okay. So maybe I'll type it in here as well. So I'll put here big space equals rich, and then I'll put here cuts off big space, cuts off big space equals thin. There we go. Okay, fun. That's super fun. Okay. And then a little bit of dynamics. I'm going to see what happens. That's my voice box. Dynamics wise, it is actually responsive to the air bubble being bigger and smaller. You amplify it with like a richer sound and a thin sound. So large air bubble for forte, small air bubble for soft, and then do the same thing. Tuck it a tiny bit further back for when it gets really huge air bubble. Shove it forward a little bit when it's soft, and that kind of helps with stability of the note and also intonation. But I'll put that here. So also rides very high. So pew to make sort of like a negative space in front of top teeth. And then we have tone color manipulated by space behind bottom teeth. So it's that kind of jaw area right there. And then we have, so like large air bubble plus large air bubble equals forte. Large air bubble, I'll put here back a bit. Then small air bubble forward a bit equals piano. And then I'll put here amplify dynamics with tone color manipulation, which is pretty in line with what you do for Baroque music, because you know, in general, you're playing so soft, you're essentially just playing soft all the time. So if you manipulate your tone color a little bit, it can sort of make people think that you are playing louder than you really are, or playing softer than you really are. And this is because rich sounds come across to us as louder and thin sounds come across to us as softer. So it's just a great little kind of trick to keep in mind. Okay, now because everything is in front of the teeth, absolutely everything, I am going to guess that the tonguing is all right here. So I think it's very much at the kind of tonguing, which again is quite Baroque. It's a very Baroque style of tonguing to do it there. And you can see why it would sound clean on this, right? Because anytime the air bubble is in front of the teeth, I find that it'll sound clean if you tongue it, you know, essentially like right at the bottom of the top teeth. If it rides lower, then you'll end up straight up tonguing between the teeth. But let's try it out. A little bit of F major scales here. Yeah. I actually had to remind myself to not let my tongue go up the tooth because it was starting to sound a little thumpy. And then as soon as I just made it stay right at the bottom of my top teeth, clean, clean, clean. So a little bit of double tonguing. I'm going to guess we need to do the cheaty double tonguing, full on cheating. So when I say cheating, it means that the K part may not actually make contact with the roof of my mouth. We'll see. So I kept messing that up because my tongue kept riding high, and I had to remind myself, no, keep it low, keep it nice and low. It feels really weird for that top F to sound so clean with my tongue so low. But I was correct about the double tonguing. The K feels like I'm making contact with right here, which, as you can see, is not actually making any physical contact with anything. There we go. Oh, man. Oh, so beautiful. Yeah. So it sounds like you're saying it's like saying lugga, but very slurred, like very unarticulated, bad diction, all the whole 9 yards. That's how it sounds. That's how it feels. and it feels like you're making the K part make contact with air, the air underneath the roof of your mouth, and it creates that really clean sound. Okay, now that I have essentially completed the review part of this, so we've like figured out how this works. Now let's bring out, I think first I want to do the Poco Adagio CPE Bach. Let's just do the beginning a little bit, see how this goes. Wow. I think I'm actually going a little too hard on it. Like I'm working it too much. So I'm going to try and back off of like working the effects too much and just kind of let the head joint do its own thing. So I'm going to go another phrase or two. Sorry. Yeah. I still think I'm working it too hard. Like I'm too used to playing a modern flute. So, you know, if there are any criticisms out there about how I'm way overdoing it on here, I accept it. I make those criticisms of myself too. I'm going to try out the Bach B minor sonata, just the beginning of it, because I think this will really shine in this type of music too. So here we go. Going back to CPE Bach's Dad. So some things I'm noticing is that I don't have to actually particularly enrich the lower notes. It's just the moment you go down there, it immediately sounds richer by comparison. So I do think that is just like a Baroque flute thing. So I'm kind of overdoing them a little bit. I think I need to support the higher notes more because they require more support than on the modern flute. And I recall my instructor telling me this back in school too. They said like the high notes on the Baroque flute, like you have no choice. You have to support like crazy. So we're going to go a few more phrases and just to keep those two things in mind, because I just thought of them as I was playing them just now. So I think I need to ease up on the low notes, more support on the high notes. Okay, got it. I was like, how does it go again? Whoa. Okay. Okay, I'm also recalling how, due to how much I have to like kind of manipulate tone color for some dynamic contrast with my like lower jaw area, plus like combined that with that like crazy pew kind of like a shape that I'm holding with my top lip, I'm now recalling I would get very tired playing the Baroque flute because I just kind of felt like I was holding my face like the entire time. I'm starting to get a little tired right here. Like I can feel my muscles right here, kind of like they're a little achy right now. And yeah, I recall this now. It's been a hot minute since I played the Baroque flute extensively. So yeah, I will say that even on this mellower body, mellower than the silver, I think I am still lacking a bit of the full kind of whooshy sound. There's this kind of full, the entire thing is just like this full whooshy, like very very bendy sound that I'm not quite getting with the metal body. I'm like, I want to say I'm like 90% there. I'm 90% there, but it's just that extra 10% I can still feel is still kind of hard sounding, if that makes sense. Like, because it's not, the rest of the flute is not wood, it actually sounds a little harder. Like the those richer low notes, they don't have like a kind of like an owly sound, not as much as I'm trying to go for. So I think if I wanted that full sound, that full woody Baroque flute sound, I would probably have to kind of do it with my mouth. So I'm going to try just the beginning of this again and see if I can get the full whooshy sound. that takes it another few percent up to the full Baroque sound. It's very close though. And it's very good. This is really, really fantastic. I just had a thought, which is that if a flute professor out there wants to get their students to really experience, Baroque music, without having to straight up play their Baroque pieces on a Baroque flute because all the fingerings are different and stuff like that, this is a fantastic way of introducing how it actually feels to play a Baroque flute and kind of like how resistant it actually is, how light you have to play, et cetera, et cetera. Like how you have to articulate. Because this thing is about $2,000. Let's see. As of 2025, this particular one is $1,800 USD, as sold in the US. If you are a flute professor and you like playing Baroque stuff enough to have an $1,800 head joint, this actually might be an interesting way to, you can lend it to students. If you're not comfortable lending it to them, you can at least make them play it for you in the lesson, right? And then, this is then a very hands-on way of really introducing Baroque concepts, Baroque style concepts to your students. At least that's what I thought of. Do I think that's a hilariously expensive way to get your students to understand how Baroque flutes play? Yes, absolutely. It is a hilariously expensive way to do it. But if you as the flute professor are going to own one of these anyway, it is a fantastic teaching tool, I think. So, hey, Fallen Leader, welcome. Yeah. So, I'm very impressed with this. I'm very impressed. It really does take you, I want to say 90 to if you manipulate the tone color a little bit more, 90 to 95% there in terms of the Baroque sound. But, you can keep your fingerings the same. So if you perform a lot of old music, that, where you really want this sound and this kind of resistance, this, this kind of older way of playing, I think this is very well worth it. Very, very well worth it. It's a gorgeous thing. It's a gorgeous little thing. I love it. So, okay. I think we've reached the end. Sure, I'll try out Tumnus's Lullaby on this. Might be interesting. Might be a little difficult. I am pleasantly surprised by that. That sounds really good on this. I'm glad I mapped it out though, because if I didn't map it out, I would not have been able to grab all those notes where they wanted to sit. It's making me wonder about another one. Wrong. I'm hitting all sorts of wrong notes. We're going to look this up. How much time do I have? A little bit of time. Use score. This is... I'm having a brain fart. Let's go to my... Port Ormos, right? Forgotten this part. Yeah, that works though for this. Does the pitch bends really nicely too. Yeah, I like it. Okay. I played the Genshin theme on the other head joint. I could try it on this, and then we'll have to end for today because I have to teach a lesson. Fawn Leader, I like that you picked up on the Middle Eastern tone. This is actually, this head joint is created by someone from Israel, Ariel Jones. Ariel Louis. Why did I say Jones? Ariel Louis. And so, yeah, he has a lovely video where he talks about how he wants his flutes to become what's played in the temple. And I think that's really beautiful. But yeah, that does make me want to try out the other piece that I tried on the other head joint. That sounds like the soundtrack. I love it. Oh, it's so good. Okay, I need to start cleaning up because I need to teach a lesson in 12 minutes. But I need to clean up anyway. So, what'd you guys think? I thought these were so lovely. Like both of these head joints, and they're very different, but also like strangely I'm finding that I can play the same things on them, but just like essentially have a completely different effect. It's not that, you know, it's not that like they can't, you know, do the same things as each other. It's so interesting. Like I do think that these head joints will fit people who are kind of like looking for a very particular sound, looking for a very particular color. But yeah, they're both absolutely gorgeous head joints, just stunning. What is Ethereal Mildness and Evergreen Wish? Are those like tracks from an OST as well? I am curious. Hello, Vera Kosin. I'm cleaning up right now. I'm so sorry to miss you. How are you? Jennifer Swanson, hello. If I didn't say hello to you yet, hello. Welcome back. How are you? I think this head joint is absolute. Both these head joints are absolutely gorgeous. Like if you want this kind of like, you know, like contrast on a wood head. Yeah, that Howel Roberts one is so good for it. Wow, I'm very impressed with the amount of contrast that I can really like, you know, get from this. Like it's so good. It's so good. Okay, that is the Mateki. Then we need to do the Trevor James. Which OST are those two pieces from? I am curious. Right now, if you guys want to know what OST I'm personally right now absolutely obsessed with, is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I have beaten the game. It was kind of our one solace that we had during this, flare. So it was our great escape. We both escaped to Expedition 33 in the pits of John's flare. And it is such a beautiful game that I think encapsulates a lot of what we think about how precious life is. Like, we both felt very heard, I think. Very heard and very seen by the story. But God, guys, the music is amazing. You go get that soundtrack. The soundtrack's 8 hours long. It's amazing. Just absolutely fantastic. So Virkosten, you might be heading up to Flute Center later this month. Oh my God! Have so much fun. You could tell them you're a regular here in our little corner of the internet here. Tell them you're a regular. Make sure you do the whole JF code thing, because then you can get an extended warranty. Do all that stuff, but most of all, have fun. All right, the Flute Center are a delightful bunch of people who just really love playing with flutes. They're just as much of the nerdiness that you guys feel here. It's 100% over there, and it is fantastic. So yeah, I'm realizing that this is a little bit challenging to swab. Interesting. Yeah, this is a little challenging to swab. It's a little challenging to get high enough up there. Interesting. I think we're gonna have to go old school. I'm gonna have to just thread this way. And then just kind of stick it up there, and then I might just have to let it dry. Yeah, it's a bit of a thin boy. Yeah, we'll just let her dry. No big deal. So Michael, you're trying to, when I try out flutes, what am I supposed to try out? Everything that you notice that I have a little rubric, right? So I'm really testing to see how the flute plays. I'm trying to describe how it plays. And the reason why I do this is because I'm being very aware that people are shopping for flutes. And so I'm trying to give essentially a verbal explanation of how these head joints and these flutes feel. How do they feel? How do they respond? What types, and then you as the viewer can then, make a decision for yourself. Do you think this fits your needs? Does it fit your mouth? Does it, so I model my my flute reviews after, like, you know how, like, if you look up reviews of pretty much anything on YouTube, you'll notice that what people are reviewing is like what the product will give to you, the consumer, right? Like, what is this product good at? What does this product, like what does it serve? What purpose does it serve? And so, yeah, that's how I'm doing it. I for a long time, I haven't watched a makeup review in a very long time, but when I was younger, I was obsessed with makeup reviews. I would just watch them all the time. And part of the reason why I really like them was because they're so inclusive. They're like, if you have oily skin, you want to look at this foundation. If you have like dry skin, you want to look at this other foundation. And if you have like yellow undertones, then look at this. And if you, have, paler, like pinker undertones, then like look here. And then if, it was just I found it very inclusive. And I liked that those reviews and the result from, having those reviews being made by real people, I feel is one of the reasons why it pushed the makeup industry to be even more inclusive. Like, you get way more skin tones now, because there are people now who are, pushing the market in that more kind of diverse and inclusive type of market. And so I sound like such a nerd saying that, but like, that's actually why I liked makeup reviews. And that's what I wanted to do for flutes, is that I wanted to review flutes in such a way that it would encourage diversity, would encourage inclusivity. So yeah, but yeah. Oh, fun, Virkosen. Fun. Okay, well, guys, I need to go now because I need to teach my lesson like now. So I love you all so very much. Thank you for joining me today. I will, I'll see what happens for next week. I'm probably not going to get flutes in time for next week. So we'll see if I end up taking a break or if I, like just hang out and do an AMA again or whatever. Maybe I'll do a one-off practice session or something. But yeah, no plans right now, but the current to-do is to return these head joints and then get another batch coming in. So we'll figure that out over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, until the next time I see you guys, take care. Stay happy, healthy, and safe to the best of your ability, because there's no music without the musician. I love you all so very much. See you next time. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.